Hello thrillers, welcome back to today's tutorial on how to sew your skirt with lining. Last time I made a video on how to draft the skirt using this pattern paper, but cutting it as though I'm cutting on fabric direct. So this has allowance already, so I've already gone ahead to cut my skirt, my front pattern on fold, and this is my back. So I just want to show us how I transferred some things here. First of all, I'm going to remember I said I'm cutting it short, so I used my tracing wheel and I traced this place onto my fabric. So, or you can just make a notch here and there. Then I'm going to just cut this around first. And so as you can see, this is on fold. I have my lining here and I have my main fabric here, both on fold. I've cut out, I've trimmed it out. Then on my waist here, I'm just going to fold this point, give it a notch to transfer it onto my fabric, fold this one too, notch it. Then this is my sewing allowance. I'm going to fold it here. Just this is my hips. I'm going to fold. Then on this point, this is my sewing allowance where it ends. So I'm just going to unfold it. I have it here. So this is the point. I'm going to fold it here. So this will just make my sewing easy. So for this dart leg, what I'm going to do is, if you've watched my previous tutorial on basic dressmaking, I'm just going to point it here, transfer it onto my fabric. That's the point. So of course I already know these 2 points. Connect it here, connect it here. I'm going to do the same on the other side of the lining and also onto my fabric, just as you see me do. I've done that on all of them. I'm also going to notch down my zipper allowance. So remember I added 1.5 inches for the hem, and what we'll do is on our lining, because of the style we want to sew, on our lining alone, I've picked both the front and the back lining. I marked out that 1.5 hemming allowance that I gave and I spread it out. So I'm going to cut it out only on your lining. I'm just going to trim it out. Our lining is shorter by 1.5 inches. Sewing our skirt proper, the first thing I'll do is to take in my dart. So I'll take it to my sewing machine. I'm going to fold it this way using that notch that we made. So I'll fold it, take it to my sewing machine and sew this down and backstitch. Do the same thing for on the other side of the skirt. On our lining, this is the front, this side. Just do it on everything, taking your dart and we'll be back. Now I'm done sewing in my dart. Please, I advise that you iron it every step of the way. So as you can see, these are the darts, the front. This is the one for the back. So the next thing we're going to do is to join the lining together and join the main fabric together. So this is my lining, front. I hope you understand what I did. So I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and join the sides, these 2 sides, by the 1.5 inches allowance that I gave. I even went ahead to notch it here like I showed us. I'm going to sew the sides by 1.5, sew this side by 1.5. Do the same for the main fabric. And join the sides. If you're using 2 inches sewing allowance, you join yours using that same sewing allowance. Now, quick tip. This is what I will be doing because I didn't draw it out here. So while sewing, I will just be measuring 1.5. I'm sewing down, I'm measuring 1.5. That is how I'm going to get it to the end of it. So I've joined it at the sides, as you can see. Then the next thing now is to fold the hem. So I'm unfolding this fabric like this. This is the hem, and this is the lining, and here is the hem. Right side, facing the right side of the fabric. I'm matching it at the center. I went ahead to notch it at the center. So I'm matching it here, and I'll pin it all through. Secure with your pin all through like this. And then you take it to your sewing machine and sew by 0.25 or 0.5 inch. Sew it all straight down up to this very point. I've done that and I'm going to turn it to the right side. So for us to see the effect of making our lining shorter than our fabric, we're going to drag this up to meet this point, the waist parts. So I'm just going to hold it down under. Now you can see the effects of making it that way. I've gone ahead to iron this, and the next thing is to attach our zipper. I've also ironed the zipper allowance of 1.5 both on the lining and on the fabric inside. The idea of our method is that the zip will be sandwiched in between the main fabric and the lining, so that when you look at it from the outside, you won't see any seam. And even on the lining, there will be no sewing. But before that, I'm going to take only my main fabric, and then with my zipper, I will measure down to where the zipper stops. Measure down to where the zipper stops, and I'm going to come up by say 1 inch or 1.5 inches above it. Mark it, and also from the hemline, I'm going to come up with 6 inches for my slit opening and mark it also. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and join the 2 points together on 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Once I was done with that, then it will now be to attach the zipper properly. So what you will do is to unfold your fabric. This is how our zipper should face normally, but you're going to unzip it and turn it towards the other side. Quickly, remember that when we are transferring from our pattern paper to our main fabric, we have a 0.5 inch sewing allowance that we're going to use and join it to the band. So you want to make sure that your stopper is starting immediately after the 0.5, just like this. And then this is our 1.5 inches sewing allowance. So you are going to sew it down from here. Please don't start from here. Let your stopper start here. So while your zipper teeth is a little before the line, you take it to your sewing machine, securing with your pin, and sew it just on your zipper allowance. Just as you can see me do the same. When you get to that point, you backstitch and do the same for the other side. Next is to join the main fabric and the lining. So what you want to do is to open it up, grab the zip allowance on the main fabric and grab the one on the lining, hold them together just as you see me do. And then you secure it with your pin, hold it down with your pin. It's going to help you a lot. When you are done with that, you just bring it out from that side. Bring it out from that side. And arrange it properly so you can see it here. So the idea is to sew it very close to the teeth of the zip down. Just sew it straight down, but please make sure you're not sewing it on top of this stitching allowance you already have there. So just sew it very close to it, up to your hem, and then you backstitch. Once I was done with that, I'm going to bring it out for us to see the finishing. So this is what it looks like even before ironing. You can see everything is just sealed up. Do the same for the other side. When I'm sewing this, if I get to somewhere below the zipper, I will stop, and if I also get to somewhere above the slit, I will also stop so that I can turn the dress from there. Normally, because I have not sealed my waistband, I can go ahead and close up this opening and turn it out from my waist. But peradventure, you are sewing for a client, you're not yet sure. So even if you close up, even if you already attached your waistband, you can turn this dress out from this opening and make some adjustments for your client, and then you seal it up with your needle. Just an invisible seam. So the next thing is our band. I'm going to take the measurement of the band round. Here I have 29.5 inches. So from our previous video, I already told you I'm making use of a band of 2 inches with half an inch allowance, just as you can see. So I already cut it. This is a band of 2.5 inches, and on the side I have on total my waist, the waist plus extra 5 inches, because I've decided to make use of this press button, and also I want to add a little allowance on the waist side. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice also on this band, I folded one side half an inch on one side and I pressed it, then folded it like this, got the middle, and I notched it. Already I have a notch on my center front. I already have a notch here, so I'm going to match it there using this side that is not yet folded. Also, I ironed the soft interfacing on this, so I'm going to match it here. So when I get to my waist, I want to show us a tip, something I got for myself. You know, for some of us that you want, as you are growing, your dress is growing with you. Because if you are going to sew this thing just this way, that means there will be no allowance for the band. And maybe if you added flesh, you're just going to have to dash the cloth out or find a way to, play around it. But something I just I just got for myself is, this is side. So when I get to this point, I'm going to fold 1 inch and make sure that it is matching at this point. So I will take this, now it's matching, so I'll take this to my sewing machine just the way it is folded this way, and I'm going to sew it down. Do it on this side and do it on the other side. Even if you added flesh, all you have to do is just lose the side and also lose a little bit of this band, and of course it will match with your dress, your skirt. So I've done just that. What this means is you are allowed to add up to 2 inches. So what you can just do is lose it and keep rocking your skirt. So I'll continue from where I stopped. As you can see, I've already sewn these parts, so I'll continue matching it up to this very point. And when I get here, I gave this mark because I'm going to fold this like this and sew it straight. I'll do the same for the other side. I will continue matching to my waist. On this side, I'm just going to sew at the edge. What we have here is an inch plus 0.25. So the 0.25, I'll use it and sew these parts. So I'll sew this part, I'll fold it this way, sew this part with 0.25, leaving 1 inch, because this, I'm going to add this press button. So I'll attach the press button here. So once I was done with that, the next thing is I'm going to push this seam inside. From the center, I'll match center to center by my notch. I'll match it here, fold it, and I'm securing it with my pin. Then I'm folding this up and I'm covering it up with this. So do it round. I'm done pinning it, as you can see, making sure that this is covering the seam line a little bit, covering the seam line I have here. So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and do what is called sew in the ditch. And that means I'm going to sew right on the first seam line that we have. So inside the space, I'm going to sew there up to the very end. So finally, this is it, and this is what I call perfection. It is there, but you cannot see it. Just check it out. Check it out. I used the black thread, but you can't see it here. Only from this side, you know that something really happened here. And that is all for the skirts. So on the inside too, look at the perfect finishing. Here, like I said, you just use your thread and do an invisible finishing, an invisible sewing, which I'm going to show us all the way here. So the only thing needed to be done here is attaching our press button. So on this side, I'm going to attach this one with like an eye. So I'm going to attach it just two and attach the other one here. And that is all. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, share, like, comment, do everything, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. See you in my next one. Bye-bye.